Uh, we are going to talk about consumer behavior. As you can see in this slide, different types of consumers are shown. Just an introductory picture. Who is a customer? The term customer refers to the purchaser of a product or service, whereas the term consumer refers to the end user. So that means there is a difference between customer and consumer. You people have to remember this. Customer and consumer एक नहीं है. Both are different. So customer, who is customer? A customer who refers to the purchaser of a product or service, the one who purchased the product, and maybe in future in return, or maybe the person is going to resell that particular product or service, is called as customer. Whereas a consumer is the end user of a product, means the one who is going to consume the product is consumer. So there is a vast difference between the customer and consumer. It seems there is a thin line between these two words. We feel they are synonymous, but there is a difference. I hope it is clear. Customer refers to the purchaser. Purchaser here means the person who purchased the product from one place or from one shop and is about to sell to other place or to other people. Whereas the consumer will purchase a product or service and will be consuming the particular product or service. So you can see the people holding the bags and all. So these are, some of them must be customer, some of them must be consumer. Like for example, when you go to the for example, you go to the MACD or KFC or any other place, and you are having a blast over there, or you are having a for snacks time you went over there. So you're buying a product, means you're buying any product, prepared food item prepared over there, that you're going to consume for yourself. You're not going to sell it. So you're not a customer, you are a consumer over there. Next slide shows us what is consumer behavior. Now, what is the behavior? This is what we are supposed to study in your topic, in your subject. Consumer behavior is the study of the process involved when individuals or groups, either individual or group, understand what it is. Consumer behavior is a study, or you can call it as a process, anything. So it is a study of the process which involved groups and individuals, either one person or group of people, any person or a group of institution also, anything. What they do, they select, then what they do, they purchase. First of all, before selection also, what they do, they identify, they recognize their needs, their demands, what are their requirements, and on that basis they select the things. When they select the things, after selection they purchase the things, and then after purchasing, the products are disposed or the services are disposed. Dispose means utilize. Utilize means consume to satisfy their own needs and desires. I hope I am clear. To satisfy their own needs and desires, as I said, if you're hungry and you went nearby, like for example, on the highways, when we go for long drive or a native place by road or some way, we see McDonald's on the highways or any such joints, food joints on the highways. What we do, we take a halt over there, and we try to utilize the products and services which are available. We select from that and we dispose the products and services which are available. What for? To satisfy our needs and desires. I hope consumer behavior is clear. Now, next we'll move to disciplines. Now, consumer behavior is totally depending on five disciplines. What are those five disciplines? One is psychology, one is sociology, anthropology, economics, and marketing management. So you can see five combinations are there, five combination of disciplines are there, which are called as, I'll repeat once again, psychology, sociology, anthropology, economics, and marketing management. We'll move further so that I can explain you each discipline in detail. Before going to those disciplines, those combinations, to understand the behavior, first we'll move to the technical part of this chapter of this subject, that is called as very very important definition of consumer. You can see here two definitions are given for you all. Uh, you can refer anyone, whichever you feel easy. I'll explain both. First definition, according to Kotler and Armstrong, what is consumer? The buying behavior of final consumers, individuals, and households. Now here we have included different words also. Buying behavior, matlab buying pattern, the need, the psychological pattern also you can say, or the sociological need, as we have seen this five word disciplines. So the buying behavior of final consumer. Final consumer means when we decide we want to purchase a particular product or service. So we become final consumer. So final consumer or final individual or household, any person who buys the goods and services for personal consumption. Always remember, consumer word itself tells us for personal consumption. Make it a point, make it fix it in your brain. Consumer is equal to personal consumption, to consume. Next definition is according to Angel Blackwell and Mansard. These three people had given the definition. According to them, consumer behavior is the actions and decision process of people. What it is? It is the action. Obviously, it is an action. What kind of actions we take over? Like first we identify, first we plan, first we prepare our needs, and accordingly we go and we select the particular needs or requirements. Then after selection, what we do, we take the decision. So what is that? Well, consumer behavior is the actions and decision process of people. Who takes this decision? People takes. That's why of people. For what? To purchase goods and services. Goods and services is common for personal consumption. I hope these are really relevant and very very easy definition. You can see the diagram also. Diagrammatic representation is given. What are our needs? Why the actions are taken place by the consumer? You can see here. First, we need to see consumer lifestyle. How is the consumer lifestyle? Now, from consumer lifestyle, depends upon everyone's lifestyle. Some are like you can categorize the people higher level, middle class, that is higher class, upper class, or middle class, or lower class. So depends upon the class of people, depends upon the standard of living of the people. The consumer lifestyle is totally dependent, and on that basis we can decide, we can come to know what action has to be taken, and for that action what decision has to be taken. You can see the arrow is going towards needs and attitude. Attitude which influence consumption decision. Like people, for example, I'll give you the example. We Indians have different eating habits. Our depends upon the culture, whereas in foreign country, in western country, the culture is different. Those people are totally depending on junk food. Like they have they consume salads sometimes, or burgers, pizzas. That is a popular food items over there. So that is again the attitude influence consumption decision. Attitude. Now here attitude is influencing, depends upon the society, depends upon the culture, depends upon the habits of ourselves or our family, depends upon our family also. Next is consumer purchase, and because of that attitude, what we do, we take the decision of purchasing the products or services. After purchasing it, what we get the satisfaction. Or else, like for example, now one more example I would like to give you. Like now, due to lockdown, everywhere everything is tech savvy, and we all are totally dependent on technology. Like all the fields, all the aspects, people are dependent on technology only. Why? Because work from home culture has come. Now for that work from home culture, we have to be up, we should have the updated technology. Now for that updated technology, what is our requirement? Our need is uh, having a Android phone. That phone will also satisfy our all our needs which we need for our working procedure. or to fulfill our working atmosphere. So that is what satisfaction. And once we buy the latest Android version of the phone, our all requirements are fulfilled. So we get satisfaction. This is what is the next block. Satisfaction or behavior experiences affecting lifestyle. Next, this is what I was telling. Characteristics. Today's topic is characteristics affecting consumer behavior. Now, what are the characteristics? We have discussed before also 5 disciplines. It is one and the same. So, these are the things which are affecting or influencing consumer buying behavior. Remember, these are the characteristics, or we can call it as features, or we can call it as disciplines, which are going to affect or influence consumer buying behavior. One, two, three, four, five. Buyer. Buyer is totally dependent on these things, four aspects: culture, social, personal, and psychological. Now we'll see in detail. Characteristics of consumer behavior. I hope you can see the screen. Now on the screen, what it is shown. What is the process? In this process, consumer decides what to buy, when to buy, how to buy, where to buy, and how much to buy. Like earlier times before lockdown, the scenario was different. We used to go to malls frequently for any small thing, or just for updating ourselves also we used to go to malls, so that we used to come to know what are the different products which are available in the market, and that could help our decision, what I should buy, from where I should buy. Or some people have the habit to always go to the wholesale market and they buy from there in a bulk, like professionals or commercial people, they buy from the wholesale market in a bulk. So same way, this is a process which tells us, or which helps us to take the decision. If you want to buy one pencil or one pen, for example, then you will go to nearby stationery shop. For that, you will not go to the wholesale shop. But if you want to buy in a bulk for a class, for many classes, or for a school, for a college, books or something, so you may approach the wholesale market. This is the difference of that. Next point says that it comprises consumer behavior comprises both mental and physical activities of consumer. What are the mental activities? Means our thought process. Mental activities here means totally thought process. What our thought process tells us, what are our needs, what are our status in the society, it depends on that. You will take the decision from where to buy. Like in all the places, you get a particular day is allotted. Street market is there, street market shopping is happening, and for that many consumers go. So but for that particular day is allotted, Friday market, Monday market, Thursday market, Wednesday market, it is like that. But all the people don't approach over there. Some people approach only through malls or certain branded shops. So this is what it comprises of our mental and physical activities. Next is consumer behavior says it is very complex and dynamic. Complex means it is maybe complicated. Like sometimes why complicated? One moment, for a moment we think no, we will buy from here. Why to spend much time and money also? So, other moment we start thinking no, we will go and we will buy from other good place or reputed place, so that we can focus, or we can have a good status. And that's why consumer behavior is complex. You can't predict what a consumer can do. A consumer all of a sudden can change the behavior. So it is complex and dynamic. Dynamic means totally change, drastic change. When we see the drastic change, keeps changing. As you know, for example, your haircut, nowadays the coloring fashion has come, different colors of the hair, people are going for it. So the consumer is changing. Earlier, a few years before, just a few years before, people never used to try out a different colors, but now the behavior is changed. That's why we call consumer behavior as complex and dynamic. Next point says individual buying behavior, it is affected due to needs, wants, attitudes, motives, and these things are depending totally on like I have shown earlier slide. Culture, social, you can see this: culture, social, personal, and psychological behavior. So these are the status factors on which individual buying behavior depends. We'll go to next one. Next is your importance and need of consumer behavior. Why we need to study? To obviously one motive of every enterprise, whether the enterprise is small or big, to increase profit. That is the one important motive. That is the one important object. So in order to increase profit, what we should know, we should see the customers' health, hygiene, and fitness, and their consumption habit, as well as what are the taste of the preferences. Earlier, there used to be culture was there. Nowadays that culture has not been seen due to malls have come up. And that's why when salesmanship culture was there, the salesman used to know properly, because the customers were fixed, and they used to come to know particular customer like what are their taste, what are their preferences, and the salesman used to observe that and is to show accordingly. So that is what we should study. That's why we need to study consumer behavior. It is necessary to make pricing policies also. When we see many places you will find, or on street markets also you will find, the person, the shopkeeper or the vendor or the street vendor, what they do, they see the person and then they decide the pricing. Like if the person is very high fi, the person can spend lots of money, they will immediately hike the price and they will say कि the particular price of the product is 500 rupees, but to some other person, to some other customer, they may give it for 200 rupees also, 200 bucks also. And this, for this one more example I would like to give. One is your Friday market, that example you can take. Other is your Kulaba Causeway. There also you will find different pricing strategies are followed. Next, where you bargain, the person who has more bargaining power will be able to uh, give less amount. So it depends. Pricing policy is changed upon the bargaining power of the customer. You can see the chart which explains its types of behavior. One is complex behavior, one is dissonance reducing, one is variety, the person who likes too much variety, many varieties. The other one is habitual. Habitual means आदत हो गई है, मुझे इसी शॉप से खरीदना है, मुझे यही पर्टिकुलर प्रोडक्ट खरीदना है, आई वांट दिस ओनली. दैट इज हैबिचुअल. Factors affecting consumer behavior through diagrammatic representation. Can you see them? What are the factors? Basically groups. When we see our friends, when we see in our society, or due to membership, if you are the member of a particular Rotary club or Lions club, so depends upon the membership also your behavior changes, or depends upon the references. The person, from the person who gives you references, or from the person from whom you gets references, your behavior is totally changed. It depends, or it similarized to them. Next category is your family. Now in your family, husband, wife, kids, all are the influencer, all those who influences you. On that basis your behavior changes. Buyer, user, anyone. Or sometimes people go to the shop and they see, array, many people are buying a particular product, that means this particular company or this particular brand and this particular product must be trustworthy or liable, and you purchase. So you become influencer because of others. Roles and status. The other effect is, what is your role? The product is useful for what? And sometimes, like for example, people buy, if we take an example of an car. Like for example, your daily up and down, if for to your workplace you need a particular vehicle, and you are thinking you know the roads of our country or our place. So depends upon the roads, what you will try to get the vehicle. You will try to seek the vehicle which is rough and tough, and you can use very low maintenance should be there. This is some people thinking. Some people think status wise, like no, it doesn't suit to my status, my position. If I'm working at higher position, like I'm an manager of a particular very big MNC company, so my status is very high, so it doesn't suit that I go with the I go by the I'm using a very small vehicle. It doesn't suit to my status. Or I'm at director position of the company, or I am a CEO of the company. I can't go by bike, or I can't go by a small car. I need a big version which will suit my role, my status. So these are your social factors. You can see the personal factors. What are the personal factors? In personal factors, yes, this is where also very important. Your age. Your age will tell you what is your buying behavior, or what is the consumer behavior. Depends upon the age. If a teenage a person is going to the mall or to the shop, his preferences, his taste will be different. Whereas a matured person, the one who is working, or middle class, a middle aged person is going to the a particular place, his preferences will change. Like for example, we'll take an example. There are two people. One is a college student who is going to buy for the garments, and he approached to a shop, garment shop. Whereas other person who is office goer, he came over there, and he is also about to buy the garments for himself. Now there is a difference in both of them. College boy, college student will go for funky dresses, whereas office go will would like to go for formal dresses which will suit his role. So this is how your personal influences depends upon the age, depends upon the position, depends upon the occupation, depends upon the personality also. And economic, very important. Economic is your budget, right? Next is your lifestyle identification. In lifestyle identification, we have discussed this many times. Like what kind of activities you do. Are you a sports person? Are you a job seeker? Are you a freelancer? Your choices will depend on your activities and your interest. Next, again, these are given in a points. Like you can see here, I'm just revising. Psychological factors. It depends on consumer needs and perception. Perception or thinking. I believe so and so particular product will be suitable for me. I believe is my perception. So I will buy accordingly. Learning, then your beliefs, then your attitudes. Next is your cultural factors. Your cultural factors in that culture, subculture, social class. Like what is your culture at home? What is your culture at working place? Depends on that. Social factors. Social factors. Your all your reference groups. Reference groups comes, you can say your WhatsApp groups. You have many WhatsApp groups. You have relatives WhatsApp groups. You have friends WhatsApp group. You have official your educational WhatsApp group. So you have many WhatsApp groups. So your reference groups are those groups, those people which will influence you. Your family, your role and status. I had explained this. Then in personal factor, age, stages in life, occupation, lifestyle, personality. Economic factors. What are those economic factors? See, personal income, family income, expectations, income expectations. How much is your expectation about your income? If you're earning 50,000, your consumer buying behavior will be different. If you're earning 20,000, your buying behavior will change. Savings, how much savings you are doing, or are you you want to save, you have invested in many mutual funds and all. So depends upon your savings, your buying behavior will be changed. Why? If your savings are enough, your bank balance is enough, you are not worried at all, your buying behavior will change. You will be free mindedly buying. You will go for and you will take the decisions. Consumer credit, etc. Environmental factors, what are those? Political situation. Now, as you can see, environmental factors which are stopping the consumer buying behavior. The consumer behavior is changed. How? Lockdown. Lockdown is very strict over here, and section 144 is applicable. If you find many people, or more than 5 people are at a time together found, then section 144 is applicable. So your legal forces, political situation, is depending, that is your external factors, means your environmental factors will restrict you from buying. Or else you can see 2 days before it was raining a lot, heavy rains, so consumer will not prefer to go out and buy. So that is what your buying behavior is depending on, or it's changing. Psychological factors, I had explained this. Consumers in media, sorry, consumers in India. Now, consumers in India, there are four broad sectors. One is socialized, one is upper class, socialites and upper class. A socialite means the one who loves to mingle with with the society, with all the groups. The person is very comfortable and the person is ready to mingle. One is working women, one is youth, and one is the conservatives, means the traditional thinker. Their consumers, those consumers are different. You can see few more category of consumers in India. You can see here 40% of the consumers in India are between the age group 20 and 49. 40% are under 19 years of age. That's why, Indian market is said to be young market, young India. 20% of the consumer in India are under 49 years. Majority of consumer are young. You can see here consumers. How were the consumers? The consumers were in the past, as I told you, like traditional way of buying and selling behavior. What was that? People used to go to the shop and they used to ask for the particular thing, and the salesperson or sales executives used to provide them what as per their needs and as per their requirements. But now mall culture and supermarket culture had come up, and you can see here modern consumer, what they do, they themselves choose what is correct for them, what is beneficial for them, what are their choices. They try to select from many various of variety of products, and one particular product which they like, depends upon their requirements. As consumer behavior in India, we were seeing consumer behavior in India, how it is most challenging concept. And to understand buying behavior, we need to see the attitude of Indian consumer. And the attitude of Indian consumer, as I shown you in the last slide, two types of photos were shown. You can see that there is lots of transformation. Now again we have went back to the past behavior. As you all know, due to lockdown, all the multiplexes, malls, and all big supermarkets, they have shut down. Now it will open again, but they have shut down for time being, and we went back to the earlier pattern of consumer behavior. That was going to the particular small shop, nearby shops, like kirana shops, and you're going there and you're asking for the products and they are giving you. You're not going and selecting the products. You're telling them and they are packing it for you and they are giving you. So they are selecting the products for you. What is the pattern? Another pattern, another behavior of consumer in India. The consumers today want to lead full of luxury and comfortable life, and that's why people approach towards the product is they want to see, in electronics, you can see that latest electronic technology has come. Now we can relate this to the current situation, that is lockdown. Due to that lockdown, people, many people are suffering a lot. Household work also, work from home also, means office work also they are doing at home, and there are no helpers available to them, maids are not there. So what they do, they are trying to seek latest technology, the products which will help them to do, or which will be very comfortable for doing their household work, which will make their household work very easy, very comfortable. And this is what the changes in rural market has also been seen. You can see many developments over there. You can see the pattern. Government of India introduced economic reforms. From when? Since 1991 new reforms had come, and because of that reforms, our consumption expenditure is changed, and it helps our, or it affects on our changing behavior. You can see here India's gross domestic product has grown at an average rate of 7.27% in the past decades. Even this is very important point. This is fully your module 1A. I have covered your module 1A. You can see here the last point of that, some emerging future trends of buying behavior of Indian consumers. What are these? First of all, you should understand. You can see the first point. Consumers are very, very value sensitive. That is, they are price sensitive. Whether they are from higher class, upper class, the people, the consumer are from upper class or middle class or lower class. Every consumer is price sensitive. That is value sensitive. If the product is offering them more than the amount they are going to spend on that, then only the person, the consumer, will be willing to buy the product, whether the consumer is from upper class or lower class. What the consumer wants? Double the amount he is paying. The product should offer double the amount he is paying. Means if he is paying 100 bucks, he should be utilize the particular product 200 times. It should be more useful. That is what is buying behavior, and these are the emerging trends. You can see here what are the preferences we give as a consumer. We give the preferences to the more than products. Some products are very useful, but they are not popular, but we go for popular product. Why? Because they have created an image, they have created an identity. So consumer, being a consumer, today's consumer is going for brand. Now in the like for one more example I will take, like face mask we are using. When we are using those face masks, earlier when this corona had come, face mask was normal just to protect. But nowadays, we as a consumer, we try to found we try to go for the options where we get variety of colors, prints and all matching upon dresses what we are wearing, on our attire. Whatever is our attire depends on that, we try to find the mask. So this is called as consumer behavior, today's behavior. And on that also we are going for brand. We order for branded one. Wildcraft is one of the popular brand which is available in the shops also now, and face mask of that Wildcraft is available everywhere. Now they are also coming with different colors. So this is what they are changing. So companies have brought the change in them. You can see companies are making products to suit their health, like low calorie, low fat food item. If we are talking about food item, food products, then all the products now they will do the advertisement. Why? Because of corona. This particular thing, this particular food item consists your immune health, immunity will grow, or it consists of vitamin C. So vitamin C boosters. So people or consumers will buy the particular product. We go will go for it. So this is how the market is changing. I hope all of you have understood, and today I have covered today a particular module, that is module 1A is been covered today.